So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest in a series of podcasts relating to the new Elvis movie, starring, of course, Tom Hanks. But today we're going to be talking with the guy who could have been Elvis even before Elvis was on the scene. He was signed by the Colonel Tom Parker a few years before even Elvis became a national, international sensation. He ended up being the son-in-law of Frank Sinatra and came close to major stardom, but like any sand, you try to grip it, it goes through your hand. So today we're going to be talking about the original teenage crush, Tommy Sands, now born Thomas Adrian Sands. He's a pop music singer and actor. He's been working in show business, 70 years, give or take. And Sands became an overnight sensation and instant teen idol when he appeared on the Kraft Television Theater in January '57 as a singing idol. The song from the show, Teenage Crush, and a lot of people believe the origination of that term came popularized by the movie, reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and was number 1 on Cashbox. Now, born to a musical family in Chicago, Illinois, his father Ben was a pianist, and mother Grace was a big band singer. Now, allegedly, Tommy was given a guitar by his mother and took it up from there. When he moved with the family to Shreveport, he began again playing the beautiful instrument 8, and within a year had a job performing twice weekly on a local radio station. Now, as of this writing, he is 73 years in show business. At the beginning of his teen years, he moved to Houston, where he attended Lamar High School and joined a band with Jimmy Lee Durden called Jimmy Lee Durden and the Junior Cowboys, consisting of Sands, Durden, and Billy Reno. They performed on radio at country fairs and did personal appearances. Now, this is where the Colonel Tom Parker discovered him, and he heard about him and signed him to RCA. This was, give or take, I think, 1954, 55. Now, Sands' initial recordings achieved little in the way of sales, but in early '57 he was given the opportunity to star in an episode of the KTT called again A Singing Idol. He played the part of a singer who was very similar to Elvis, with guitar, pompadour hair, and excitable teenage fans, sort of like Bye Bye Birdie meets Elvis. Now, on the show, his song presentation of a Joe Allison composition called Teenage Crush went over big with the young audience and released as a single by Capitol Records. Again, went number 2 on Billboard and number 1 on the Cashbox chart. It became a gold record. Now, back in the day, Fabian, Tab Hunter, him, and having a brain, Julius LaRosa were quite kind of big and like the teenage early 20s idols. Now, his track, the old Oaken Bucket, kind of a early 1960s pop standard, peaked at number 25 in the UK singles charts in 1960. Now, his debut album after the single era was Steady Date with Tommy Sands in 1957. Now, Sands' sudden fame brought him an offer to sing at the Academy Awards show. He did another episode of Kraft Television Theater in 1957 called Flesh and Blood, playing the son of a gangster. He also made The Promise for Zane Grey Theater, playing the son of a character played by the very talented Gary Merrill. Now, Sands' teen idol looks landed him a motion picture contract with 20th Century Fox to star in a 1958 musical drama called Sing Boy Sing, which was which was the feature film version of The Singing Idol. Now, Fox had enjoyed success with films starring other teen idols such as Elvis Presley and Pat Boone, but Sing Boy Sing was a financial failure. Nobody's fault, but there was no plot in the movie. Now, nobody wanted to pay to see what they got for free on television, is what I'm saying. Now, Sands appeared on CBS television on January 9, 1958 in an episode of Shower of Stars, and played another singing star in The Left-Handed Welcome for Studio One in Hollywood in 1958. Now, Sands supported Pat Boone in a musical for Fox called Mardi Gras, which had middling success. He also released the album Sandstorm, great title, This Thing Called Love, and When I'm Thinking of You, 58 and into 59. Now, Sands appeared in a 1960 episode of Wagon Train titled The Larry Hannafy Story, and also a later Wagon Train episode in 63, The Gus Morgan Story. His later albums include Sands at the Sands, tremendous, and Dream With Me. From May to November 1960, he also served in the United States Air Force Reserves. Now, very, very interesting from here on, and he was starting to get more recognition. He was the second lead role in a feature of the teen comedy Love in the Goldfish Bowl, again with Fabian Forte, which was not a success, but sort of, the teen idol phase was starting to, phase away. More popular was a fantasy musical he made at Disney called Babes in Toyland, a minor classic, co-starring with, of course, Annette Funicello of Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse fame. That year, he and Funicello sang the Sherman Brothers title song from the Walt Disney release of The Parent Trap. Now, Sands also guest starred on The Inner Panic for United States Steel Hour, and was one of several pop stars who played U.S. Rangers and Fox The Longest Day. I think we had Paul Anka and Fabian and him. I could be wrong here. And I think he survived the movie. I'm not sure. Now, Sands had eventually started a relationship with Frank Sinatra's daughter, Nancy. And eventually, his father, Frank, offered Sands a role in Come Blow Your Horn, but he turned it down. Sands also started studying acting in New York. Now, he also appeared alongside Fred Astaire in Blow High, Blow Clear for Alcoa Theatre in 1963. On May 14 of that year, Sands appeared along with Claude Akins and Jim Davis, two Western stars, Davis, of course, with Dallas in Trapped, one of the last episodes of NBC's Laramie Western series. In the storyline, series character Slim Sherman, played by John Smith, finds an injured kidnapped victim in the woods, portrayed by Joan Freeman. Dennis Holmes, as series regular Mike Williams, rides away to seek help, but the kidnappers reclaim the hostage. Slim pursues the kidnappers, but are mistaken as a third kidnapper by the girl's father, played by Barton McLean. Sands plays the girl's boyfriend, who had been ordered by her father to stop seeing her. Now, also in 1963, he made several appearances on Wagon Train, including the Davy Baxter story, the Larry Hannafy story, the Gus Morgan story with, of course, Peter Falk, and the Bob Stewart story. Sands had a supporting role in the feature film Ensign Plumber at Warner's. He also guest starred on Slattery's People, Question, Why the Lonely, Why the Misbegotten, had a supporting role in the war feature None But the Brave, which was starred in and was directed by his father-in-law, of course, Frank. Now, he also appeared on Kraft Suspense Theater, A Lying Amongst Men, which earned him good reviews, Combat, More Than the Soldier, Valentine's Day, For Me and Mr. Sal, Mr. Novak, Let's Dig a Little Grammar, and Then I Wrote, Branded, That the Brave Endure, Bonanza, The Debt, and he had several guest roles on a Y50. The early episode, I remember, he was a singer that had heavy gambling debts and had a big debt scene in a parking lot, and he said, what a way to go in a parking lot. Anyway, good performance. Now, Sands eventually divorced Nancy in 1965. According to Sands, the doors of Hollywood seemed to slam shut after the divorce of Nancy. I couldn't get acting roles. My singing career on TV and in films was over. I think it had more to do with the total debt of the teen idols, or the manufacturing teen idols. Fabian, Tab Hunter, Troy McClure. Troy Donahue, now say Troy McClure, doing a Simpsons rough there. Now, his last feature to date was The Violent Ones, in which Sands had a supporting role. He then moved to Hawaii in 1967. Now, in Hawaii, he was hoping it would relaunch his music career. He operated the Tommy Sands nightclub tour for 5 years, opened the Outrigger main showroom, and ran a clothing distributorship. He also married a second time and became a very dedicated father. Now, Sands' last appearances include more episodes of Y50, including Hit Gun for Sale, A Sentence to Steal. Now, the first season was very interesting. Sal Mineo did an episode, and Tommy Sands did an episode, so it was getting kind of the last vestiges of the teen idol. He also did the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries in the late 70s, Mystery on the Avalanche Express. I think that was his last role, 1978. He occasionally returned to the mainland to work, appearing in dinner theater. Now, he returned permanently to the mainland of the U.S. in 1981, settling in the beautiful community of Fort Wayne, Indiana. He also toured regularly, performing concerts. Now, Sands and Sinatra again, married in 1960 and divorced in 1965. His career had declined significantly by 1965, triggering speculation that Sinatra had him blacklisted in the entertainment industry after their divorce. Such reports were denied by both Sands and the Sinatras. In 1974, he married Sheila Wallace, a secretary to Honolulu, where he had relocated again to revive his career. Now, filmography, film, Sing Boy Sing, Mardi Gras, Love of the Goldfish Bowl, Babes in Toyland, The Longest Day, he played an Army Ranger, Ensign Plummer, None But the Brave, The Violent Ones. And you know, it was a good movie career. He was a good supporting actor. Television, Singing Idol, The Promise, Zane Grey Theater, Dick Powell, of course, The Ford Show, starring Tennessee Ernie Ford as himself, Wagon Train, 2 episodes, Trapped, and episode of Laramie, Slattery's People, Kraft Suspense Theater, The Debt, That the Brave Endure, Comeback, Hawaii Five-0, of course, the different roles, in Hit Gun for Sale, a very good episode, 1975, you can find it. Now, and also that Hardy Boy Mysteries. Key singles on RCA, and I want to cover this. Love Pains Transfer, 1953, again, one of the first pop idols that he tried before Elvis, before Pat Boone made it big. Life is So Lonesome, A Dime and a Dollar, Don't Drop It, A Place for Girls Like You, and Something's Bound to Go Wrong, and Kissing Ain't No Fun. Sounds like Elvis titles. Now, getting into the song Teenage Crush. Teenage Crush is it's hyphenated for some reason. Audrey Wilson and Joe Allison wrote it. Kind of a rockabilly style, only 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Now, it ranked 33 on Billboard's year-end top 50 of 1957, and number 10 on the U.S. R&B chart. So it was considered an R&B song. Now, there's been different versions through the years. Barry Frank released a version of the song in 1957, but like his covers of popular hits of the day released by Bell, then a budget label, it did not chart. Now, Gary Paxson did a version, and Ray Whitley in 62 and 63. So it was kind of standards. Now, the last single before that was Something Bound to Go Wrong and My Love Song in 1957. Now, from my perspective, one of the most underrated teen idols of his era. I like his acting style because what you saw is what you got. But Tommy Sands has done, I've seen him do talk shows or interviews and stuff, and he's the last link really with the male side of the family with the Sinatras, because he lived to tell the tale. Now, it's funny though, why you wouldn't have given him, when you do these Disney events, more of a hosting style. I saw him at Babes in Toyland, and like I said, he's a good actor, very solid. Not to say compare him to Kurt Russell for Disney, but he knew what he was doing. In The Longest Day, there was a lot of shit going on. Everybody was in that movie. Jeffrey Hunter, who I'm named after, or some of the cast of West Side Story, Richard Burton, John Wayne. It's gone and on and on. But like I said, I can imagine I mentioned this saying Paul Anka was the Canadian super teen idol. So Sands at the time, it wasn't like Elvis, but can you imagine what Tom Parker was thinking? I tried this with Tommy Sands and I got Elvis. He went from making 100,000 to $1 billion. Pretty weird. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, if you want to learn something about history, here's the place to come. But entertainment, because we always do tributes to the different people that have done a lot in the industry. And he's the original Teenage Crush, and that's where he comes from. Thanks for listening. Bye.